Ambush the Game podcast. Chris Phillips, I'm your gracious and thoughtful and happy and loving. That doesn't sound right, does it? It's Chris Phillips. I'm just your host for the show. And I want to share with you guys a little bit of commentary. Nothing much, just a few things that I heard here in the news here recently. I just wanted to see if you guys have ever heard of some of these things. Well, one thing in particular. And that thing is a black tax. Have you ever heard of a black tax? Okay, so let me explain. So in the recent days, there's been a lot of talk in the urban areas about Keith Lee's food critics, his reviews of some of the black restaurants in ATL. All right, so those criticisms or critiques of those restaurants have led to a lot of conversation in the urban podcasting community, in the urban areas in general, period. Okay, so here is the backstory. Some of those restaurants that he and his family visited, he sent his family in first so he would not get preferential treatment. With sending his family in, he got, in some cases, crappy treatment. His family did. Ranging from we're closed to we don't take any orders. We're not taking the orders right now. We're doing a deep cleaning. We don't take any orders online. We don't take any walk-in orders. We don't have any seats. Whatever the case may be. There was a lot of things said about some of the restaurants that he went through, prompting a lot of these restaurants to have something to say back. Usually, in most cases, it was positive and apologetic, but in a few of them, they seemed very aggressive and just downright nasty. Now, in some of the cases when he went in, the service, of course, changed. Now, all of a sudden, some of these restaurants now have seating available and can take his order right now, knowing who he was and hoping to get a glowing review. Now, where the controversy came in was the fact that some people believe that he was out of order by having anything to say about some of these restaurants and establishments. Some people were overwhelmingly, thankful that he would do that and express that they too have been feeling the same way, but just, didn't have the voice that he does. He has a lot of followers on TikTok, I think it is, or Instagram, or both. I'm not sure, but he has a large following of people that listen to his critiques or whatever. And he's very, very nice and cordial. He's not, if praises are due, he shouts them out. If service is crappy, he calls it out, but he doesn't ask any of his followers to call in and give bad reviews to the establishments that he's critiquing. Anyway, that gave rise to black tax. And it was described as this right here. Black establishments charge for valet parking if they think they are of a certain status, whereas some other white establishments with good status and stature in the community do not. Black gratuity is more than gratuity at other establishments. There will be no substitutions, no changes, no this, no that to the menus, and a few other things that is only done, according to the people that were talking, done at black establishments. Hence, black tax. They also suggested that these forms of taxes and treatment is not done to patrons of other ethnicities and colors. I.e., if you're white, come on in. We got you. We got something available for you. And plus, you're not going to get the standard black woman attitude. And hey, you guys can get mad at me for saying that, but you all know that it is true. Don't nobody have a shitty ass attitude more than a black woman when you go to a restaurant. I don't know why these people are working customer service with that shitty ass attitude. I've seen that myself. Now I guess I will go personal. I have witnessed some of the criticisms that were mentioned by the food critic and by some of the people that were commenting on this topic. I have witnessed it myself. I have had conversations with friends about this over the years. And I will tell you this, it does exist. My number one criticism of black establishments is the attitude. It's like you owe them something, or you should be thankful that you're coming in there to spend your hard-earned money. So I think that is legitimate. That's my number one criticism of the black establishment. Number two, after customer service, is the cleanliness of the establishment itself. It seems as though if the place is nasty, the food must be good. I've seen several memes that state if the restaurant look like this, or if the cook looks like this, or if the lady built like this, or whatever the case may be, the food must be good. So we have made it a standard, or we have made it acceptable, not a standard, that we will take a rundown, dilapidated dump with cardboard under the table legs and folding chairs and styrofoam, and we'll pay top dollar for that because we've made that okay. I'm saying that I'm not above it, but if I'm going out to eat, that's not okay. So I guess, it's not okay. I guess people may call you bougie or whatever the case may be because you have some sort of standard on it, but that's just where I am with it. So those are my two criticisms, my two main criticisms, along with the other things that some of the other people have said. They charge more. It's a status, okay? It's more about the restaurant owner and how they are perceived versus what they're offering to the community. Hey, you guys should be happy that we set up shop in the black area, so we're going to charge you a little bit more. So I was just amazed at that term, black tax. I never really heard it phrased that way, but I've been thinking about it all day, and I think it does exist. Now, I also want to be completely transparent and fair on the matter. And here's what I mean. There are many situations where black people come into your establishment, whether the ownership is black or white or whatever color it may be, and we act a motherfucking donkey. There was a big thing several years ago about twerking on the tables in the restaurant. I couldn't believe that people thought that was an actual thing to debate. Of course, you shouldn't be twerking on the table, but that's just me. There was an incident where the lady walked into the place naked because she wanted to show that, hey, not only will I not abide by your bonnet rules, I'll walk in this joint naked. We always got something. So I kind of see why black establishments, restaurants in particular, force certain things. Maybe it's to weed out a certain characteristic or a certain patron that they don't want. So there's room for improvement on both sides, no doubt. But personally, I don't think that I should be subjected to the quote unquote black tax. I'm going to behave and do what I should do as a customer, but I also expect, there's no but there, I also expect the place that I'm dining at to also be professional and courteous and fair. All right. If that equity is upset, then I can no longer be a customer, nor would I recommend your establishment to anybody that I care about. So the question is, does black tax exist? If the answer is yes, let me know what you have experienced that you would consider a black tax. It's just interesting, right? It's interesting for several reasons. I'll list a couple. One, it always seems to be us against us. These conversations that turn into heated arguments, in my opinion, shouldn't exist. We're always talking about brother this and sister this and queen that. It's all bullshit. It's just something to say. You don't really mean it. You're just talking. Some say you're talking out the side of your neck. Some say you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. I just want to put it with a little bit of twist, a little bit of nastiness on so it can stick to your ribs a little bit. You're talking out your ass. This queen, this sister, this brother thing that we always say, it's just something to say to seem hip and cool. You don't really mean that shit, because if you did, these situations would not exist. If someone had a legitimate critique of an establishment I ran that was not done in a malicious way, I can respond and disagree without taking shots the way this one family did toward this food critic. I could, but we don't always operate that way. That's why I believe that brother and sister shit is complete crap. Whatever happened to just being decent? Black this, black that. Hey, I got it. I understand it, that you want to have something that you want to call your own and you want to let everybody know that it's a minority ran business. But truly, if I ran a business, the fact that I'm African American would be, I guess, okay to some people that to lift that up. But I would ultimately want my business to be successful and great in the community in which I serve, and fair, and maybe establish something with longevity that I could pass to my family, to my sons. That would be the ultimate victory above anything else. Not if my restaurant is hot for 5 years and then I'm gone because word that got around that my staff is snobbish, and they're not even owners, but they're just snobbish because they're playing off how I carry myself and I think that I'm always right. There was an incident recently where a lady said that she didn't get her order. And when she waited for an opportunity to talk to the ownership said, hey, we gave you your order. You lying. And I'm not going to make you another order. Now, hey, I thought that was foul. But guess what? Both sides of the coin here. She paid for something and did not receive it. So she has full right to ask about it. Now, some would say it's how she asked about it. You know, it's the tone for me. That's another one of those black folks things that don't make the tone you may not like, but if the statements that are being made are correct, who gives a fuck how you receive it? Well, okay, you say, well, if it's the tone that's bad and I receive it bad, that's gonna make me have an attitude back. No, you are still the professional. This is your business. You should run it as such. Customers are gonna be in the wrong sometime with what they say or what they do. But you, as the owner of that establishment, you got to always maintain a certain level of professionalism, right? Even if it's just, hey, I can't put up with that type of tone in here, I'm gonna ask you to leave. Now, let's say that didn't happen, and for sure, I don't know that it did happen that way. I don't know that she got upset. But what I'm telling you is, the owner said that he made the order. He wasn't going to make anything else. Now we got a standoff. Would you, as a customer who paid for the service that you did not receive, continue to fight this battle, or do you leave without any food and lost your money? Now, on the flip side, some people say that this owner has dealt with the black woman's mentality, attitude for so many years, it has given him a sharper tongue. So now he doesn't handle everybody with dignity and respect, which made him a little more snappy toward this particular customer. So it's give and take on both sides. My understanding is this, and this is what I'll leave you guys with. We do not take care of each other like we claim we do when we're making these posts on Facebook, Instagram, and everywhere else. You're all full of shit. The truth is not what anybody's interested in hearing. It is just the shit you say to get them clicks and likes. That's my personal opinion. Now, back to the black tax. Have you guys ever heard of it? If you have, give me some comments. I'd like to know what it's all about. Ambush the game. Hey, treat me like you wanna be treated. Or some shit like that. Ambush the game. Question everything you think you know.